Hello and welcome back. Nikki here, and today I've got my mess mat out, so we're going to be doing something a little bit messy. What I want to do is I'm going to create a card using this stamp set from the October subscription box from Hedgehog Hollow. It's called Octobers, and I really love this set specifically because it has a bunch of different small images, and you can make a lot of really nice backgrounds with this. So what I want to do today is I want to create an emboss resist using these two leaves here. I've already got this one on my block. And I'm going to emboss them in clear embossing powder. And then I'm going to blend some distress ink over them, and they'll show up as white with a really nice colored background. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to do is, like I said, I've got this one already on my block. And I have a piece of paper here, a piece of the cardstock. It came in the box as well, but this was actually part of one of the card bases, so I just cut it in half so I could use it. I'm going to prep it with an anti-static pouch so I don't get embossing powder where I don't want it, and make sure I get the spot where I touched on it so my fingerprints don't hold on to any embossing powder. And I'm going to use Nuvo Clear Mark for my watermark ink, and I'm just going to stamp a random pattern over this. It's not going to be any particular design or anything. I just want kind of like falling leaves, I guess. So, and I'll speed this section up for you because I'm just stamping, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got everything stamped right now. And as I was going, I was adding a little bit of Nuvo Fine Detail in clear, the embossing powder, so I could see exactly where I was putting my leaves. So I'm just going to finish doing the embossing powder here. Then I should be able to see all the leaves, and if there is any blank spots. But I think I did pretty good here. Yeah. Okay. All right, so if you can see that, that's the background. I'm just going to take this off camera just for a second, and I'm going to heat emboss it. Okay, everything is embossed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a glitter pickup roller really fast and make sure I've got all the anti-static pouch dust off of there. All right, and the next part is we will be doing the blending. So I wanted to use some type of like autumn colors, but I've been using a lot of brown lately, so I was thinking maybe some green, red, and yellow. Now I have this little book that I use for keeping all my swatches in. Oop. So it's my Copics, and I'm going to be using distress ink like I said earlier. So I can choose what I would like right here, and I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Fired Brick and the Wild Honey and Peeled Paint. So sort of like a red, green, yellow, autumn leaf sort of background. So, and I've got them here already picked out. And let's see. We're going to start with the Fired Brick, I believe. I've got one right here. So what I want to do with this is just bring it in from the sides. And you can see how the embossed areas is showing up really well there. It's resisting the ink. So, and I just want to move this around a little bit. I don't want to, I want to create like a mottled look, So I want to bring ink in and just bring it across in certain areas there. Kind of like a random pattern, just like the way I stamped it. And a little bit of red right here. And don't worry if you get a couple of sponge lines and stuff, that'll blend out. So I'll lay the fired brick aside here, and I'm going to come in with the wild honey, I believe. Yeah, that will go good next. The reason I'm leaving green till last is because where green is opposite of red on the color wheel, what happens is that if you blend too much green in with too much red, you kind of get a muddy look. Whereas the yellow matches with both red and green, so it's a good transition color. So, and I'll speed up this section as well, because this will take just a little bit of time to get everything blended. And for this, you can go as light or as dark as you want on the inks. These are layerable, so you can do as much as you want. And I think what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to add a little bit more red in here because my red seems a little too light. Where that yellow is super, actually it's more like an orange, but that yellowish orange is super vibrant. So, and be careful about transfer with your fingers with the different colors. You can use a small piece of paper if you'd like to make sure your fingers don't touch off of the ink and transfer it to different colors. And this is the part where I was talking about being careful about the green. As you can see, it blends really well with the yellow, but not so much with the red. There we go. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is make sure we get the ink off of our embossed areas because there's still a bit of a smudge there, so you just go ahead and you wipe it over. I have a microfiber cloth that I like to use. It's good for cleaning stamps and stuff too, but my favorite part is cleaning the ink off embossing because it comes up so nice and bright. Wipe off my mess mat. And there we go. There's our background. So let's go ahead and put this together into a card. Okay, I wanted a white border going around this, so I did do a die cut where I trimmed out the edges. So when I pop it on my card base, it'll show a nice border around it. So that will accent the leaves. And for the sentiment, I chose this one in particular. I am so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers, because that would be, I thought that was particularly fitting. And I die cut that one out of an oval that matches the stitching die that I used to trim my edges. And I did this off camera because I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not, but I used the exact same type of technique that I did for the background. And I'm going to put it on like right there and pop it up with some foam squares. So, but first I wanted to add a little bit of twine in behind. I've seen a lot of people do this with thread, but I don't have any thread, and you got to work with what you work with, right? So this is some, I think this is just some hemp twine, but I'm just going to do this little scribbly thing. And I'll speed this up because it's going to take me a minute just to get it right. And I'm going to stick that with a foam square as well to keep it still. And then I used a couple of smaller foam squares to pin them down. And I wasn't too concerned about where I was pinning them because I knew that my sentiment was going to be covering all of that up. Okay, everything's ready to go there. I'm going to leave the release paper on these little black ones because I just want those to hold down the string. They are my favorite adhesive for holding down thicker embellishments like that, because those things are pretty much permanent when you put them down. So I'm just taking the release paper off of these, and I have it off the center one. Had to check there. And I'm just going to center this and attach it. That's the card front. Let me go ahead and attach it to my card base. I've got a 5.5 by 4 1/4 A2 size card base here. And I'm just going to pop it right on just like that with my favorite adhesive. It is Funky Tape by Tonic. Make sure that is straight as well, right about there. And that completes the card. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more crafty goodness, and we'll see you next time.